Do we have UNC Senator David Nahkid?
Good evening, Mikee K. How are you doing, big brother?
Good evening, and welcome. Thank you once again for linking with us here on The Observer. I know it has been a hectic season for you, and I want to thank you for being on board. You're also the...
Most welcome. Most welcome, brother.
Thank you. You're also the Shadow Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs. And looking at one of the daily's editorials, Living Off the Begging Bowl, they said that the explosion of beggars and homeless people in public places across the country tells a very different story about the state of the economy from that presented by government officials. What stands out, of course, among them are mothers with children, the elderly, the disabled, and the young and seemingly able-bodied. Now, as far as it goes, it said the consistency with which many turn up at the same locations on a daily basis indicates that for them, begging has become a full-time occupation, main source of income, and a social activity better than whatever it is they return to at day's end. I mean, hearing about the percentage of young people out there and what's happening, I mean, give us your insight on that.
Mikee K, it's mind-boggling. I warned about this. The UNC warned about this since 2020 when I came into politics. I have highlighted this no less than on 10 occasions on my social media that this explosion, as they put it, of begging, of homelessness, of vagrancy, it's not only a sign of the economy that it's failing, but it's a sign that the economy has failed, that this government has failed us. What we are talking about, as you correctly stated, it's not the normal demographic we are seeing that is involved in homelessness. It's not a normal demographic. People who are mentally unstable and so. I have interacted with these people, Mikee. Some of them are educated. Some of them just were unfortunate to lose their jobs. People who are living salaried workers. Some of them are very, very articulate, intelligent. And you look at that and you realize that this government has truly failed this country. And I'll tell you why. I don't need to say it. I don't need to put a fine tune on it. The demographic of it being mostly African people that are vagrant and homeless, that has been shattered. They are Indians, they are mixed up people, they are Africans. Everybody now knows somebody that is homeless on the street or is a vagrant or is involved in begging. Because the government has not implemented proper supporting policy, and especially in the disadvantaged community, to give people a chance to get out of poverty. They have not implemented proper social policies. What this government is interested in mostly is building infrastructure, building buildings that they and their finances can benefit, that the other things why can power wash for $100 million, that Sinanan and they and his people can benefit from a little pothole patching. So we have a lot of money that has been squandered, and I highlighted that in my press conference on Sunday, where I alluded to the fact that we are leasing 12 planes that are being underutilized at a cost of $168 million. And I wanted the people of Trinidad and Tobago to recognize what $168 million can do if properly used by this government. And that can get rid of the homelessness that we are seeing. I mean, how long can we take the spectacle of passing in front of Royal Bank every night and seeing that place turn into a homeless shelter in our capital city? I mean, it's ridiculous. We have lowered the bar for ourselves so much as a people, especially dealing with this government. And somebody correctly said, when the PRM is in government, because most of our African people tend to believe that they represent African people, we go to sleep. We go to sleep. We close our eyes to their criminal behavior, and as soon as the UNC comes into power, all of a sudden everybody wakes up and recognizes that, hey, we have more than 5,000 people homeless in the capital city alone. When Donald Cox had the audacity, the temerity to come into the parliament and say that we have 200 people homeless throughout the country. Mikey, I'm not making this up. These things get me angry and passionate. We have over 5,000 homeless people in our capital city, Mikee K. What does that tell you about this government alone and how he's taking a trip every other week, going Barbados, goes here, goes there. Stuart Young, Minister of everything that failed. Fitzgerald Hines is a failure. Everyone knows that. I mean, come on. It's too much.
But let me ask
and
you...
I'm glad you highlighted. Yeah, I'm glad you highlighted this problem.
Yeah, let me ask you, Senator, is this part of the new normal? Because, I mean, there are people who would be rather skeptical to give, but now they understand. And even those who are trying to give, maybe just one paycheck away from being out there on the streets themselves begging. I mean, when you take all of this in consideration, we've just had a local government election, and for some reason, there are people who are saying, listen, is the message reaching the masses, although they're living this reality every single day?
Well, I go back to what I just said. Yes, it reaches the masses. Yes, it is reaching the masses. But let me tell you, how Port of Spain goes, as we say, how tongue goes, so is the narrative dictated. I have realized that now in Trinidad and Tobago. And as long as the people of Port of Spain, the so-called privileged people of Port of Spain, keep turning a blind eye to what is going on, unless we, the rest of us, recognize and mobilize, we're going to see the same thing, and it is going to reach our door. You look at these homeless people. I see them because I go and I see them. And it's not a boast. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago knows that I feed the homeless as much as I can. And I look at the situation. And I am telling you, it is exactly as what you said. It is the new normal. And tongue, because of their support of the PNM, and I'm talking about Guardian media, and most of the media, and most of these so-called black bourgeoisie, these wannabe black bourgeoisie, because they eat from the crumbs from the table of the PNM, they do not care to highlight, they do not care, Mikee K, to address the problem of homelessness. Most of them, not all, but most of them belonging to the same demographic, same ethnicity, as this so-called wannabe black bourgeoisie that we have here in Trinidad and Tobago. These African for-a-day people who are disgrace to this country. These people who will dress up in African gear while not looking to the hills of Laventil, while not looking to Scorpion and Bagatelle, while not looking to move and beat them, to say, let me put a hand back and uplift my brothers and sisters. No, they're happy to eat from the crumbs of the PNM. They're not even part of that 1% circle that the PNM has. They're not even part of that. They're disgraceful. They are shameless. And I swear to you, Mikee K, God will have a reckoning for all of them. Because there's no way we can pass you Port of Spain. There's no way we can pass you. Can you imagine your children, Mikee K, growing up in the environment of Beetham Garden, of Hope Garden, with that stench, that smell, every day, every night? Can you imagine that, Mikee K? Can these people who call themselves African for a day, can they imagine that for their own children? You're so right. You're so right. It's a new normal for them.
Yeah,
but
but Senator, these people that you're speaking about in positions are the ones who would use that ideology on the masses to make them believe that they are indebted to a political party. They're indebted to a certain government because the minute that they're born, immediately they must be aligned with this political party. I mean, and we've spoken about this and year after year. I mean, it's been 60 years now since Martin Luther King gave that speech, of course. We all know it, I Have a Dream, in Washington, D.C., and yet still we see what's happening across the world, even in America where that speech was given. And here in this region where we live, how conscious are our people to say, listen, not because my grandmother did it or my mother did it or my father did it, it means that I need to travel the same route of this generational social curse. And this is the million-dollar question. How do you get people to break away from these things?
Well, Mikee K, you broke away. I broke away. I can say without even asking you. I can imagine how your family, how they voted and who they supported. I know how my family did and still do. But I broke away because I recognize that it involves a certain amount of reflection. And let me tell you something, Mikee K. The youth of the country are not anymore like their elders. The youth of this country right now, they are waking up. When you look at the local government, when you look at how many PDs were flipped in so-called PNM areas, they're waking up. Because when they look at the PNM hierarchy, they're not seeing people like you and me. All they see is a figurehead of Rowley, blackface, white mask, as Franz Fanon said. And then what do they see? Short Young, Sinanan, Al-Rawi, Cole-Imbert. That's what they see. That's what they recognize. That's what they identify with. They know that the PNM doesn't represent African people any more than France or these traitors now in Nigeria looking to attack Burkina Faso and Mali. No any more than these people, Tinto and they represent African people, or Zuma or Ramaphosa. All of them who have betrayed African people. They know, the young people know. They're aware. You just have to look on social media and see. But we have to keep highlighting and we have to keep fighting, Mikee K, and bringing the awareness to the people, especially the young people. And there's going to be a change. They're no longer going to take $500, the youth of this country. Take $500 on a jersey from PNM and go and vote for them. They know who will bring change. They know it's people like me who will bring change on the corner. And I swear to you, Mikee K, I will, for the youth of this country.
Yeah.
I'm no longer going to stand and see my people in Beetham and Lavantil and Mova suffering while Rowley and his people, his cohorts, these bands of thieves and incompetents, rape and pillage, and only tell you and tell my people, yeah, don't trust Indian. They will not get away with it anymore. I'm telling you, Mikee K.
One would really hope so, that people could see beyond the ignorance and get to the core issue that's affecting them socially in their communities and by extension Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking about the youth element again, the UNC political leader and opposition leader Kamla Prasad-Bissessar urged incoming councillors to refrain from posting personal family matters and other damaging content on their social media accounts. She said that if you encounter difficulties, discuss them with your colleagues or reach out to any of us. Because, and the reason why I brought that up is that young people at some point in time, as you say, they're changing. Some may have somewhat of a rebellious nature. There are people who say that is democracy at work. But understanding their role and what needs to be done, they can sometimes get sidetracked with all of this technology, all of these platforms. How serious is it when a lot of these things are played out in the public domain?
Well, let me give you an example. We have talked about, you mentioned about being rebellious by nature and the young and so. There's no one that you will know, Mikee K, more rebellious than I, especially as a youth. But you have to maintain a discipline when you belong to an organization. I have been rebellious all my life, involved in activism all my life, but I remain disciplined and loyal to organizations. I was captain of the national team for 6 years. I was rebellious in making sure that everybody was paid, especially the local players, paid as well as the foreign players were paid. I and Braffett and Burton are responsible for that. So even within your rebellious nature, you have to maintain a form of discipline that doesn't hurt the organization that you purport to represent. So that's a very, very reasonable request. You guys is going to be chaos everywhere. So when the political leaders spoke about that, and people say, well, it's a democracy. Well, if you want to live that democracy, how you see that democracy should be lived, then you have to go and do it outside of the party. You have to do that. There must be a certain discipline for all within the party. So when I see people saying, well, what is this and that is pure politics. That is pure PNM sycophants and supporters and souls playing politics. Because there's no other organization right now that is discontented with their leader like the PNMites are discontented with Keith Rowley. But do you hear them talking about it? No. Because they maintain that discipline until the time comes to be moving, like they did with Marlin. So no one can point a finger at the political leader of the UNC. She said the right thing. You have to be careful what you post. You have to, this is an organization on your social media. You're no longer a private figure. You're a public figure. So you have to maintain that discipline. Who could have been more disciplined than Malcolm X? Who could have been more disciplined than Patrice Lumumba?
Yes.
Or Thomas Sankara? All of these are rebellious men, but they were disciplined.
Yeah. What did you take away most from the just concluded local government election?
Took away that the paradigm has shifted. The dynamic has shifted. What we got, PNM, what we got from PNM was a suppression of their vote. In other words, a lot of their people did not come out and vote. They were discontented, and who came out to vote in their areas? I mean, in Ortonville alone, notorious CPNM, TDs were flipped in favor of the UNC. TDs were flipped. Not close, were flipped. Went for the UNC. I think they realized, people of Tinapuna, people of Diego Martin West, when they look, they say, how much can PNM care for us? If we have as an MP somebody as brain dead, as visionless as Esmond Ford or Fitzgerald Hines or Adrian Leon, I mean, they are beginning to realize that nothing has been done for them from these people. It's only a black face to look like them to get their vote. So now they've woken up. We're seeing that I call it an enlightenment on the corridor, and we hope that we can keep pushing through with the message to whenever a general election is called.
All right. Any closing comments? Go right ahead, Senator.
Mikee K, I admire your work, my brother. I admire your work. Keep bringing it to the people. And as I say, patria or morte, homeland or death. We have to fight for our country. We have to fight for our country.
Thank you so much, Senator. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And
Thank
you. That was UNC Senator David Nahkid, also UNC Shadow Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs.